Okay, so this short video is just going to go over for my fall 2019 classes and maybe for some future classes. So if you don't see your class listed, don't worry. What I'm going to be using for now for something really important in our class, which is our real-time communications. And if you ever have a need for me to help troubleshoot something on your side, or if you're taking my coding class, you need to do code reviews. So in either class, if you're enrolled in, and I'll just open this one, you're going to see a new item listed as of today called Class Chat. So I had asked all of you for your feedback on what you'd like me to look at to use for Class Chat because Hangouts was going to go away. But I can just tell you it was a long process. I evaluated everything. I almost got to use what's called MS Teams, but our campus needs to do work before I can get that done. And so what I decided to do, the end part of this story is that I decided to go ahead and continue to use Google Hangouts, at least for this first 9 weeks and possibly second, because what I did is I read the document from Google saying when they were actually going to start sunsetting it, but they're actually not sunsetting it the way I originally thought. Probably more information than you care to know, but here's the deal. We're going to be using Google Hangouts for our class chat, for our video calls, and for our screen shares. So most of you will probably interact with this in class chat. And what I really love about class chat is that if I'm around, of course, that's a nice way to get real-time feedback from me. If you have questions, other folks get to see that. If there are times like later at night that I'm not around, but your classmates might be, then you can get help that way. So I just find it to be really useful to have this kind of environment. And I've used the head chat in Canvas, and I just don't like it. So the other thing is the reason I will probably lean to use this is that I use it all the time. But regardless, you're going to need a Gmail account, which I find for most folks these days already have one. So if you have a Gmail account, go ahead and log in before you click, and this is where you're going to join. But if you don't, you'll need to set one up. So go ahead, log into your Gmail or set it up, and then click on this link. And this will actually add you, it'll allow you to join the Hangout. And then when you do that, I'll just show you. I'll go ahead and click on it. Now, interesting for me, I'm actually using my, I just saw this, what it was doing here. I'm actually on my Chromebook today. In my Chromebook, I can run, of course, Chrome, anything in the browser, but I can also run any Android apps. So the point of me having it up was just to show you what it would look like here. And it doesn't look that different on my setup here than it would be if you were just in your Gmail. But of course, one of the things you have to do here is you have to have it show up. And if you want to use that feature, you can go into your little gear, go into settings, and then inside of settings, there's a chat. And then if you turn chat on, then I believe that should allow it, or that should make it just show up here. Okay. So that's the way I use it, just because I have so many different chat groups that I'm involved with, but I also have it on my phone. Okay. So the thing I want to show you though for each of the classes is I want to show you one feature that I think many folks might need to use, just because depending on how many people are in here and what's happening with the chat, you might want to mute this. So what you can do is come in. Now this is me using it inside my browser inside the desktop, right? So if I come in here and I click into either class and I go into the gear inside of here, then what I can do is turn notifications off. I can also turn off history if I want. Now for me, I leave these, well, it depends on what I'm doing, if I leave this one on or off. But one of the things, and this happens once in a while, is just don't click this, because if you click this, it turns it off and then folks can't join. So these would be the really only two options you might want to think about. And don't rename it, so just limit your selections here, because that's the one thing about Hangouts is that we're all at the same level. I'm not the administrator in this case. I just give that option. But again, don't turn it off. Okay. All right, so I think that's what I really wanted to say about that. I showed you the client there. When you actually are in it, right? If you happen to, by accident, actually click here, this video calls everyone in the class, which is not something I'm going to use. So, and if you do it, it's okay. We'll probably all just hit cancel. Because I'm on so many of these, I have this happen, and I actually did it the other day accidentally. So, just don't do that. In case you do it, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Okay, I hope this helps you. And I highly recommend, I don't require, but I highly recommend you join Class Chat, because it not only does it give you access to real-time communication, but it also is a way that once you have it set up, oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say. Once you have it set up, then there's other things I can do to support you, like screen shares and other things. But the other thing I would say is especially if you're taking my 93 class, because if you're going to be doing code reviews with me, and in general, I would definitely recommend some kind of noise canceling headphones. And really what that means more than anything is something with, it doesn't have to be these big headphones, but something that has a mic on it. That would be really helpful, because then you're not using the microphone on your webcam, because that can, whatever's happening in the room can sometimes really distract from the conversation. And again, that's a little more leaning to my 93 students, but really this would be anyone who, especially if you want to do, if you need some support, it just makes it a little easier to have that in there. Again, not a requirement, but it makes it nicer. So I look forward to seeing you in Class Chat, and I'll talk to you soon.